Hello everybody, welcome to another episode with McForce. This is actually my second video series or playlist of how to use Copilot with GitHub and Salesforce properly. Hopefully you are now a bit more familiarized with the object model and use case. If not, please go check out my first video. But now we're going to jump straight into it. This is like really going deep end in, so there will be a lot of troubleshooting. This is like real case. This is not perfect. So we're going to do a lot of troubleshooting, and this is how the real world works, right? So let's say, for example, I'm a new Salesforce consultant on this project, and I'm trying to figure it out. Not project as in this project, but the actual project, right? So in the implementation or whatever. And okay, so I know that I want to create an opportunity, and I know, okay, if I click this button, it's going to create an opportunity. So we're going to call this, let's say, edge changes opti bill effective date. So this will obviously be the date that billing is effective. Save. Let's check what happens. Okay. Okie doke. So we've got our opportunity here. But what's really interesting, what I've seen now, is that we've got some contractor changes records that was created. Right, so we've got Sean Forbes. I know Sean Forbes was one of the contractors on the original project. And I see that the cost was pulled through, the budget percentage was pulled through. If I open his contractor record as well, just to check this out, and me new to this, I need to figure out like where did this originate? How did this actually happen? Right? Ooh, what happened now? Okay, so I'm gonna ask Copilot like, how did this happen? And I'm gonna be doing like normal conversational language and check if this will actually work. So I'm in the Salesforce instance, and I created a new opportunity from a project record, and I see related was project what contractor change records was created. Can you go through the repository and see what caused this, as in what triggered this, right? And it's good to guide it, and I'll do some explanation why now. What triggered this? Look specifically in the flows and Apex triggers and classes. The reason why we guide it, you have to be a bit more specific than anything else, because it's got limitations in these. Because as you are actually going deep into the repository, let me just duplicate this and actually go into our repository again. There are limitations. Where is it? Project app. Right? So through every file that it's actually going into, there is like an API call, and it's got limitations on how many API calls it can do. So as it's going through every single file, there is an API call. So you need to guide it to be a bit more specific. And it looks like it found something. So it found a flow. That's cool. And and it's giving you an overview of what this flow does. Okay, so if we quickly go and check in our org, and I want to now go and look at this flow specifically. So the flow is called, what is it called? Where is it? I saw something about process. Contracted changes. No, wait. Where is it? I saw something about clone. Clone contractors transform. Okay. So I'm quickly going to go and look for this flow. No, it's not that one. Transform. Let's just search for it. Here we go. All right. So let's look at this flow. Because the reason, again, let's play a bit of the use case. They told me that it's been giving they've gotten some flow errors actually, or some errors when creating, and they didn't know where like the errors were coming from, and they get the message from go and speak to your administrator, and that was directed at me. So I'm looking at this flow and I see, so they didn't even use loops. So what this transform is doing is it almost worked like a loop, but it's like transforming my get contractors that I'm getting here. I'm assuming this would get all my contractor records that's related to my project, and it's you see, and probably the problem is if you've got a ton of contractors, you're gonna reach like flow limits, because I know this transform is not great. So what I rather do, and sometimes from what I've heard, is that on our project, there could be thousands of contractors, which means that a flow probably won't work. And we rather make use of Apex to rather have this. So I'm gonna again like talk to it like a human. I'm literally like thinking of this as a developer. So I'm gonna talk it like this. Okay. Let's see, the problem with this flow, it won't be able to handle bulk contractors. I think it would be a good idea to rather put the to rather have a Apex trigger that calls a Apex handler that stores the logic. Now what I found, you need to just remind it to make use of best practice. So I just like have a thing nearby that I can copy and paste. Ensure you use Apex best practice, which includes but not limited to adding logic in the trigger, validate CRUD, permissions before SOCL and DML operations, and avoid using if statements without curly brackets or curly braces. And yeah, let's check what we get. So again, like I'm not a developer. I know I've got the basics of Apex down, so I can at least have a look and see if we're in the right direction. But I'm going to play devil's advocate and literally just copy and paste and check if it works. So cool, we've got a trigger, we've got a handler, and we've got a service class. That's awesome, because And the reason for that is like, it's really to make sure, and it's even creating a test class as well. I didn't even ask for that. So this developer is literally, doing everything for me, and I didn't even ask that. Like, how cool is that? So first of all, okay, so I'm going to go back into my VS Code. So I'm going to go into let's see, triggers, right click, create Apex trigger. It wants a file name, opportunity trigger, directory, so just save in the normal. All right, and then let's copy the old trigger, paste, and save. Right, what we're going to do then is we're going to go and get our opportunity contract service class. Just copy the name first. This is kind of annoying when you have to go back and forth, but it's the game. Okay, let's check where's our classes. Create Apex class. Okie dokes. And then we copy this. So you can literally just click on that. Paste. Save. And then we will do the trigger handler. Copy. Create another class. Paste. Enter. Copy the code. Save. All right. We're going to do the test class. Let's do the test class. Copy another class. Create Apex class. Paste. Enter and copy. Paste. Save. Okie dokes. So, first of all, let's deploy. Let's check if this will go in. This is always a bit nerve-wracking because I did it. Yes, that's so cool. Awesome. Okay, and then we're gonna do trigger. Okay, awesome. You know what? Let's play devil's advocate here and let's check and actually go through it and check what it does. Okay, so it's checking for permissions. We get all project IDs. This looks good, and it's creating maps, and maps are so much better than just like creating lists. That is awesome. It's creating the contractors, create contractor change records. Wow, check this. Okay, so everything looks awesome. The trigger handler, this is literally just handle the contractor changes, create instance of, and it's doing good commenting as well, which is amazing because like me, that's a non-developer, I can read through this and I can understand exactly what it's doing. Like honestly, the commenting here is amazing. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go into our instance. I'm going to turn off this flow, deactivate, and I'm going to check if the actual, because we've just refresh. This is now actually like gone into the org. And let's do it. Let's check opportunity name. Edge. Woo. Edge changes. Let's say test 2 and bill effective date, end of my month and end of the month and save. And now I'm hoping to get those related contractor changes. And I did it! Yes, it works! It works, it works, it works! That is so cool. So, I want the developers to actually go and check this out and let me know if this is good code, if this is good practice, because it works at the end of the day. But obviously, you know, it works is not always the best thing to do from a best practice point of view. So let me know. But we can, and I'm actually going to do this a bit later, and ask it to, and you create like a new chat, to ask it, look at the code, and ensure that best practice is maintained. Also, I mean, I want to show you, we're going to now commit this to our Git repository. So the first step is to generate a message, and it's very cool because it actually looks at what like it's committing. So I'm going to click on commit, yes, and sync changes. And boom. So if we go and look into our repository, let's just refresh it. And we go and check in our app. And we check in our classes. Aha, there they are. Awesome. Yeah, let me know, guys. Comment. And yeah, let's sort of collaborate on this. That'd be cool. Thanks, everybody.